Hey, today is Monday, April the 19th, and it's so good to see you once again. Now, we Americans spend a lot of money on products to make ourselves look good. I mean, a lot of money. In fact, I looked it up. I was curious, what does the average American spend per year on the different products? So I'm talking about shampoos, I'm talking about lotions, things for our teeth, Q-tips, you name it. Haircuts is included in this. So the average American, what do you think they spend per year? Well, it depends if you're talking about women or men, and you probably would guess women spend more than men on average, but it's startling how much we spend. So the average American woman will spend $3,756 per year. Now, I know there's some guys watching this that are rolling their eyes and thinking, what a waste. How could you spend $3,756 on all this different things to make yourself look good? Well, guys, we're not a whole lot better. At least the average guy isn't a whole lot better, because the average man will spend $2,928. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, we spend a lot of money trying to make ourselves look good. In fact, America as a whole last year spent $93 billion making ourselves look good. $93 billion. And as I was putting this devotion together, I kind of laughed at myself, because just earlier today, I stopped by Walmart and I needed some of these items. And so, I got some shampoo and I get the T-gel because I've got dandruff and this is the only thing that works for me. And I needed some more deodorant. So, I got some Old Spice, and I got the stuff you spray under your pit this time, but, we'll give it a try. And, I needed some more hairspray. So, I got some hairspray to lock in the hair. And, I spend money on products too. Now, if you have been doing our chronological Bible reading along with us, we have finally gotten to the point of the kings of Israel. The Israelites have made their way out of Egypt into the promised land, and for the first couple hundred years, they are ruled by these people called judges, who God raises up, and they lead the people forward. But there comes a point when Israel demands that they have a king for themselves, because they look at everybody else around them and they've got kings, and so they think that they need a king too. So the very first king of Israel, though, is a man by the name of Saul, and his time starts off well because he follows God, but then something happens. He stops following God and he turns his back on God, and there's this moment that God realizes that the Israelites, his people, need a new king. And so what God does is he sends his prophet, who's a man by the name of Samuel, into a tiny town of Bethlehem. Does that ring a bell? Yes, that's Bethlehem. And in Bethlehem, there is a man by the name of Jesse, and one of Jesse's sons, God knows, will be the next king of Israel. God knows who it is, but Samuel does not yet know. And so Samuel travels to Bethlehem, and he realizes this Jesse has a lot of sons. And we have a great reading. I'd like to read it for you. It's from 1 Samuel 16, beginning in verse 6. When they came, so it's talking about Samuel. And Samuel comes, and Jesse presents all these sons before him. Samuel looks on Eliab, and Eliab was the oldest of the sons. And Samuel thought, surely the Lord's anointed is now before me. Now, Eliab would have been the oldest, he would have been the strongest, he would have been the most confident, and just looking at sheer looks, he looked the part of a king. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord does not see as mortals see. They look on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. Oh, I love that. We human beings, we mortals, see what's on the outside. And truth be told, that's pretty much all we're able to do. When you first meet somebody, those first impressions, how they look, whether they're wearing nice clothes, whether they're shaven or done their hair, we make those first impressions very, very quickly. And that's what Samuel was doing. But God's word tells us something amazing about God, that God is able to see inside of here. And God is able to see inside of here, that God, when he's searching for leaders and he's searching for people to do the good things in this world, and he's looking for someone to help somebody, he looks inside of here. Now, Jesse will have son after son after son come before Samuel, and every single one of them, God says, no, that's not the one, until they come to the youngest. And the youngest son is David. And David had been out working the sheep, and so I'm sure David smelled like the sheep, might have smelled like manure, and he was the youngest, which meant he would have been the smallest. He didn't look like no future king, but God knows that there's something different about this David, that David's heart's different, that David loved God, and David would strive to walk in God's path his whole life, and this David would become the greatest king ever in Israel. Not perfect by any means. He was a man, a person, a human just like you and me, but David had a heart for God, and that's what God was looking for. This is the very same David who will stand before Goliath, this Philistine giant, and put that stone in his forehead, leading his people forward. Now, what does it teach us about our lives today? Well, I think more than anything else, we need to be reminded that what really matters, what God is really concerned about, it's not, how your hair looks, not about what type of deodorant you wear, not about your clothes. It's really not about any of that stuff. God is concerned about your heart. God is concerned about your mind. God is concerned about whether you're walking in that humbleness and whether or not you're striving to walk in Jesus' footsteps. And so today, remind yourself of that. When you look in the mirror and no matter what you see, know that God, he doesn't really care about how you look. He cares about what's inside of here.